You ready?
Yeah.
What's good, y'all? Welcome back. Sorry for the hiatus. You know, we've been going through a lot of personal issues, as a lot of you may have known. I went through a very life-changing, actually both of us did.
Mainly you.
Mainly me, but a very
yeah,
life-changing event.
we've been gone for a while, and we thought we'd jump on and explain for those who don't know what's been going on the last 5 months or so. It's been a lot, and it's just hard to keep track of time, obviously. But you want to tell them?
All right, so October 2nd, for those of you who don't know, I got in a motorcycle accident. It was a second. Yeah, it was a second. It was a very bad accident. I got hit. I was riding. I got hit by an oncoming car on the other side, like coming across the road, turning into an establishment.
There's not much details that we can provide regarding that. But yeah, he was hit. It was... I don't even know how to explain.
Being in the moment, my adrenaline was rushing so bad. Like, I didn't really understand what was fully going on. I wasn't fully there, and it was... I don't really know how to explain it. It was just a weird situation being in that position, like being on the ground like that. Like I was still like there trying to move, but I couldn't move. I just remember like a swarm of people just running up to me. I broke my collarbone, and so I tried to take them. Well, first I tried getting up, and I couldn't get up, and I was like, I don't know why I can't get up. So I tried taking my helmet off, and then come to find out, I shattered my pelvis. I broke my collarbone. And at that point, that's all I didn't really know I broke those at that point. Because like I said, my adrenaline was so bad. It was just, like I felt fine. But like that's just because, like I said, the adrenaline. And so I remember laying there and I seen 2 people ran up to me. They're like, keep your helmet on, just stay down the ground. The ambulance is coming. And at that point, I was like, the ambulance, don't call the ambulance, who's paying for that? Like that's all I was always been told, like the ambulance is expensive, so you don't want to ride in an ambulance. So I was like, who's paying for an ambulance? Like, don't call them. And then everybody's like, no, we're calling them. So they're on their way. Just sit here and stay with me. Just breathe. And I was laying there and I just seen this lady. She came out of nowhere, and like once she like walked up, her presence, like I just like kind of blurred everybody out and just locked onto her. She's like, can I pray for you? And she just started praying. Like at that point, I really feel like she was my guardian angel coming to pray over me and make sure I was okay, because it was, I don't know, like just the way like her words were hitting me, and like I just felt it like through my body. And it's just like the way how it was just so weird how everything's blurred out, and she just had like the sun shining right on her, and so like it was just like a red light. Yeah, it just, I don't know, I really felt like she was my guardian angel. And so I was probably on the ground, I don't even know how long till the ambulance got there. Really, like I wasn't keeping track. I couldn't keep track of time. And like I said, it was very weird being on the ground, because I was just so confused on like what just happened. Cause like I was very aware and very careful on my bike at all times, and like I never thought that I would be in that situation. And it was just hard. And so I remember, like I said, it was a very big group of people that all came out of nowhere. Like just one by one, just everybody started rushing up. And so the ambulance finally got there. I don't remember getting into the ambulance, but I do remember being inside of the ambulance, and they were trying to cut my clothes off. But I didn't want them to cut my clothes off because not telling this part. So it was funny. So I was out of town. I was in San Antonio, and I left straight from my job. I was a truck driver. Left straight from my job. And went straight to San Antonio. So I had my bag packed already.
Well, rewind. The night before, didn't you come home late?
Yeah,
he came
I did.
home late, and so he was like rushing to pack his bag of clothes so he could go to sleep and wake up early for work that day before he went to San Antonio.
So I had my bag packed, and when I got to San Antonio the next day, I went to shower, and I ain't packed no drawers. So I was like, dang. So I just threw on some shorts and some sweats, and I went to go ride earlier that day, and with my dad, and then my friend, when he was driving his car, we all met up at a taco spot. And so from there, I went back to my friend's house, and then later on that day, I went out riding with another friend on his bike. And before I went to his house, I went to go buy some drawers. And then when I was about to pull out, because it was across the street from his house, so I was about to pull out of the driveway, and then he pulls in, so I had no time to go put my drawers on. So they're in my backpack this whole time. So fast forward to back when I'm in the ambulance, I have my sweats and I have my shorts on. And I remember them in there, they're about to cut my sweats, and I'm like, whoa, stop. They were like, what? I'm like, don't cut my, no, they cut my sweats off. They started cutting my sweats. I was like, oh, dang, that's crazy. And then they started cutting my shorts off. I'm like, whoa, stop. They're like, what? I'm like, I ain't got no drawers underneath. And they just looked at me. Everybody started laughing and just started cutting my clothes off still. I was just like...
They're probably so used to,
Yeah.
that.
I wasn't used to it.
Yeah.
And it was just like weird. I was like, what the heck? And they're just like talking to me the whole time. I'm like, man, I'm good. I'm a warrior. Like, I got this. I was telling people that when I was on the ground too. Like, I'm a warrior. Like, I got this. Like, I'm good. Like, y'all are... Like, everybody was like so worried for me because, I mean, if you've seen the pictures and you've seen like what I looked like on the ground, it was a very scary sight.
Yeah.
And I was just, and that's not something you see every day, so I'm sure those people were scared as well. And it was just, I just kept telling everybody, I'm a warrior, I'm good, I got this, like, don't worry about it, I got this. And then I passed out, I want to say, from what I remember, it was in the ambulance. But I also had a busted artery. And so I was losing blood, which I didn't really understand any of my injuries. I just knew my hip was stuck to the ground and I couldn't really move my arm that well. I didn't know why. But then I also had a busted artery, so the whole time I'm just losing blood. I'm bleeding out the whole time. And like the doctors didn't really know until I got there. And
Collapsed lung.
yeah, I did have a collapsed lung as well.
Oh.
But they didn't know until was it because I started losing feeling in my legs?
Oh.
I'm not sure what.
Like,
That
I think it was, the losing your feeling in your legs, but they knew you had a collapsed artery because that day or that night in the of the
Well,
hospital,
I know that, but I'm saying because
they found something else bleeding too.
see, I'm not really sure about all the details
There's
after
just so
the
much.
ambulance, but I know my mom told me was that I was there, I was telling her I love her and I got this, like, don't worry about me. And like my last words I said to her were, but I can't feel my legs. And so, I mean, you can just imagine how a parent would feel about their son being in a motorcycle accident, because we were all about to go to dinner that night. Like that, I was heading to my friend's gym to go pick up his house keys, and I was gonna go take a shower and then head to dinner. And so when I got in the accident, I was with my other friend, and I had him call my mom, call my mom, and I said, no, you know what? My dad can handle this a little better. He'd take the news better, so call him. And so I had him call my dad, and because my mom and dad were both in town as well. And so that's who broke the news. So they rushed over to the the crash site, but by that time I had already left to the hospital. When I got to the hospital, or when they got to the hospital, there just so happened to be another black male in a motorcycle accident. So they had both of us registered as John Doe because they didn't know who I was because my ID was in my backpack, which my friend had. So they didn't know who I was. They didn't know who the other guy was. So that was a very, very confusion. So my mom got to the hospital. They didn't know like what was going on, and she couldn't figure anything out. It took a little bit until they finally got her back there to come see me. So, I mean, it was very hectic, but yeah, like I said, the last thing my mom said I told her was I can't feel my legs, and I wanted her to come back there with me. And the hospital was, since it's COVID going around, it was only one person allowed like each day, or like the whole time. Like only one person can be there with you. So it was
hard, and that's coming from my side of the story. Hearing about the accident is just one. Even prior to that, the day before he was going to San Antonio after work, I told him, I was like, "Are you sure you want to do this? You think this is the best idea?" Because that's a 4-hour drive. So the day of, when he was driving, every time he'd call me to stop at a gas station and get gas, something told me just to pray. So every time I dropped down on my knees and pray after we get off the phone, and pray hard. And I always pray for Brian, but I don't know what told me to do that. It was scary. So when his friend called, because his friend called, of course, his parents first, and then somebody had texted me, "How's Brian?" And I thought it was a joke, because if you know Brian plays jokes and pranks on people. And I was just like, "Who's this?" And then that's when his friend called me and told me that Brian had been in an accident. I was in line at Target. Me and my friend had just got done playing tennis, and I think we were getting stuff for like pasta night or Italian night, whatever. And I was just like, "No, like Brian's indestructible. Like he's a professional driver. There's no way." He's like, "No, this is serious." So I was like, got out the line, called his dad, and his dad confirmed like the accident, like it's legit. So I'm scrambling, trying to figure out what to do, because then I talked to his mom, and she can't locate him because there's another guy similar to his age that's black as well that got in an accident they couldn't identify. And it was just, every time his mom would call me, I just feel, and it's true, like the news was just worse and worse, because he had over 20 injuries and the pierced artery and the collapsed lung. That's super scary. So it was really hard hearing that. And from my side, like, what do you do next? Like, do you go home and pack stuff for him, or do you just drop everything and drive there? Like, I didn't know what to do, and she couldn't find him. So like, it was horrible. It was scary. And then of course I just decided, like, screw it, like I'm just going, whether or not we can get in, whatever. And my friend, who I was with, she would not let me drive by myself, thank God, because that was driving there, and like you're frantic, like you're of course trying not to cry and just trying to get your thoughts together and feelings and emotions, and waiting for updates from everyone. It was hard. It was very scary too. And yeah, it was just like, how do you pack for someone that you love that's in the hospital? Like, what do you grab? Like, I was like, what do I do? Like, it was something I don't ever want to experience again. But yeah.
Yeah, it was, like I said, for me as well, it was scary. And I remember very like small snippets of things throughout the whole next week, because it happened on a Friday, and throughout the whole next week, it was still just very, like, it was very patchy. My memory was very patchy the whole time. Like, my body was in so much trauma. I had surgery, and then I had 2 days off, and then more surgeries, because, like, so my memory is very frantic, or like, not frantic, but like very
Scattered.
Yeah, it was scatters. And I do remember talking to her on the phone My mom had FaceTimed her for me, and I told her, I was like, I'm gonna be all right. I'm a warrior. I got this. Like, I love you. And I'm not riding bikes no more.
I was like, you promise?
I was like, I'm not gonna ride bikes no more. Cause like, when I love riding bikes, I feel like my bike life was short. But like the way the accident happened, since it wasn't even my fault, and it was like, I mean, that's how most accidents are. People tell you that all the time, but you don't listen because they don't ride bikes, so they don't know. But they're going off of probably based off of other people have told them and stuff. So it's like I'm a professional driver. Like I can drive a bike, and I'm very good at driving bikes too as well. So I'm good. Like I'm not worried about it. Like I'm very aware on the road because driving trucks, you have to be on your P's and Q's at all times when you're driving because other cars, you have to read the signs. So my head's always on a swivel. And like I said, I saw the person, but it was just by the time they pulled out, it was too late for me to do anything because it was like right there in a split second.
Yeah.
But it was, like I said, a very life-changing moment in my life. I've had lots of support along the way. I thank God for that because with all the support, I probably wouldn't be as level-headed as I am, and I probably wouldn't be where I am right now because it was very long days and long nights going through all this stuff. But like I said, the support and the love I was getting from everybody that people I haven't talked to in years still is reaching out to me and just checking on me and telling me they're praying for me. Like I really feel like God received all those prayers and put blessings down on me.
Yeah, it was. You had so many people reaching. I had never even heard of, met, and even friends I haven't talked to in years reaching out, asking about. I was like, how does this news spread? But you are really loved, and that's one thing he told me. The first day I went to go visit him, he was just not in shock, but just like felt so loved.
It was overwhelming.
Yeah, overwhelmed, I guess, but in a good way.
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying we thought we'd jump on, give y'all an update as why we've been away or gone for so long because our initial plans were to post quite often, but we plan to come back. Of course, things are a little bit different now, so we wanted to provide this update, and we thought we'd give another couple videos just kind of going through what he went through and what his family and what I went through and friends, and just kind of give you input of like the past
experience,
the past 4 months and what's to come. So
yes, thank you guys for checking us out. If you're interested in my story, just hit a subscribe, a like, and turn post notifications on, comment. I appreciate everyone for watching, and y'all have a blessed night, blessed day, whatever time of day you're watching this. Peace out.
Thank you.